Hey guys, what's up? In today's video I want to talk about a gaming unrelated topic. I want to talk, due to the recent happenings in Paris, about terrorism, about reasons for terrorism, where it might go, what we can do to prevent it, and just generally break down my thoughts on the topic, and then hopefully you can share your thoughts down in the comment section below and we just can have a little discussion going on. Now, first of all, it was even difficult to pick any gameplay for this video because any gameplay really seems inappropriate. So please don't judge by the gameplay in the background. This has nothing to do with the topic itself, and I really hope I don't offend anyone. I also want to express my deep condolences to everyone who was affected or personally affected by the attacks in Paris. It was absolutely horrifying, and I've seen interviews with some of the people who actually were there when it happened, and the fear in their faces was quite scary and impressive at the same time. Now, since this happened, Twitter accounts have been popping up from people who pretend they're part of the IS, and they've been threatening in many other cities, basically all cities across Europe. Social media is heavily used to promote further attacks. I found this particular one quite startling because obviously I live in London and they announced attacks for late November in London, so nobody knows whether there's any truth to this. Basically, any city that you live in, if you search hard enough, you will probably find some kind of threat from the IS against your city. Now, just yesterday, I went into a theater here in London and I saw a play, and I was walking through the city center, and there's just such a heightened level of security. Down here in London, you see police cars every 5 meters, police patrolling the streets. Everyone just seems to be in a heightened state of awareness of what happens and basically being alarmed all the time. I also found a few quite interesting numbers that I want to share with you guys, and if you follow my channel, you know that I love statistics. So based on a study by London Institute for Economics and Peace, in 2040 there have been as many terrorist victims as never before. The number that they put forward was 32,000 people, and that is an increase of 80% from the previous year, which is a lot. Now, obviously, most of these victims are not based in Western countries, but in countries like Afghanistan, Iraq, Nigeria, as well as Pakistan and Syria. Now, that doesn't make it better by any means. It is absolutely horrible. 32,000 people dying from terrorism in 1 year is just a number that is far out there. And actually, if you are interested in finding out more about the situation in Syria and how people are living there, I can highly recommend the documentaries on Vice. You definitely know Vice on YouTube, right? Vice magazine, they have their own channel, and they went into Aleppo, and if you Google Vice magazine Aleppo Syria documentary, you can find a whole series of documentaries about the life down in Syria. And if you watch that, it is absolutely devastating. The life that these people have is just so out of control, and if you see that, it really explains why so many refugees at the moment are coming to countries like Germany and trying just to leave this country, because it is literally out of control. It is a situation that you can't live in. If you don't want to be involved in battle and you're not a fighter and maybe you just have a family, there is absolutely no way that you can live in a country like this or in a city like that without being affected by it. It's absolutely horrible, but I still recommend watching these documentaries because they're really eye-opening and make you understand the situation much better. So if we look at terrorists and terrorism like we've seen it in Paris now, I mean, it is pretty clear what these terrorists want, right? Besides obviously killing infidels and people who don't believe what they believe, they want that everyone kind of shut themselves off, that people in Western countries become suspicious and preoccupied towards other cultures, and with that basically destroy our established system and challenge our style of life because they don't agree with it. They think it's decadent. They think it's not in line with their idea of how you should live your life, and that's why everyone has to die. Another thing that I think is really important to mention and that really plays to their favor is also that we keep increasing our internet security, right? The internet has to be surveyed. Every message has to be stored for so many years so we can read it out and evaluate the data of emails that people send to each other. We have to realize this is absolutely something that these people want as well, because it limits our freedom. It limits the freedom of information, what we can say. It limits the freedom of the internet. And I personally believe that's something we really shouldn't do, because, and I'm going to talk about this at a later point again, but there is no 100% security. It just doesn't exist. And by surveying the internet, by maybe putting DNA data and fingerprint data into our passports or whatever, we will will never create a scenario that absolutely doesn't stop these people from what they want to do. If we survey the internet, they find another way of communicating. If we survey that system, they find another way. If they want to blow themselves up in a stadium or in an airplane or whatever, they can always do this. Surveying the internet will not stop these things from happening and will only do one thing. It will take away our freedom, the freedom of the internet. So in conclusion, what do terrorists want? They want to destabilize our system. And while everyone says, you watch talk shows or whatever, and everyone's like, no way, I'm gonna keep going to my concert, I'm not gonna have these guys affect my day-to-day life. Like, everyone just pretends that they are bigger than that. But then you look, for instance, tonight the big football match between Germany and Holland was cancelled, right? Because some moron called them up and said, oh, there's a bomb, right? And then everything's cancelled. So basically the terrorists won in that particular case. On the other hand, if you think about it, you want to destabilize our system, you want to tear people apart, have people not trust each other anymore. But actually the IS might do the exact opposite because, like, for instance, I think tomorrow or even today there was like a Europe-wide moment of silence. So obviously if you have a common enemy, it unites everyone. And while Europe has loads of problems, we all know about it, but if you have this common enemy and everyone is under the same threat, it actually might bring people closer together. And it also makes the refugee situation much clearer because you understand better what these people are running away from, right? Because now, even if, our fear is probably 2% of the fear that people have who live down in Syria, but at least you get a better understanding why these people have like any right to leave their country, because it's absolutely horrible and they're living with this fear in their day-to-day life. Now, one big illusion that I really want to talk about and that we can now already see with the reactions by France is that governments, whatever they do, they will not be able to protect their people from attacks like these. If anything, they will just make it worse by using military interventions. And kind of hear me out on that. I'm going to break this down in like loads of small steps that hopefully lead to an insight in the end. But just stick with an example, right? America was attacked, or the US was attacked September 11th. As a result, they were like, oh, okay, the war's on, screw this, we're gonna take down Al-Qaeda. So they went into Iraq, they went into Afghanistan with the idea to destroy terrorism and to destroy Al-Qaeda. And all they did with that was basically spawn the IS, the Islamic State, which is, in a nutshell, like a 2.0 more aggressive, more radical version of Al-Qaeda. So they didn't fix the problem in any way. If anything, they actually made it worse. And now we're at the same point again. Paris gets attacked with a really terrible attack and everyone's like, oh my God, we have to go and fight the IS, right? We've got the bigger guns. We're going to fly airplane attacks and we're going to take these guys down. And everyone puts their cowboy hat on and feels like a freaking freedom fighter. And it's completely ridiculous because you can't fight extremists like these, whether it's Islamic extremists or others, with the military. It doesn't work because it's not a group that wears a uniform or like it's everyone who has black hair or everyone who has brown hair or who wears a little flag on their arm. It is not about that at all. It's an idea. And anyone can be part of it. A German guy can be part of it if he's convinced to follow this idea. An American can be part of it. Anyone can be part of this idea. You might be able to destroy all the headquarters that they have somewhere in Syria, but then the guys who are big fans of what the IS does in Turkey or in Germany or in Spain, they will be like, oh no, what have you done to our brothers? And you spawn even more hate. So no matter how much you attack these people with bombs and the military and kind of actually let yourself down to their level, you fight the aggression with even more aggression, you just make the problem bigger. It doesn't go anywhere. The only way you can fight an idea, in my opinion, is with education, with improving conditions in these countries in the long run, by offering people alternatives and initiating long-term improvement now, so that in 20 years from now, we are closer to a solution. There is no instant solution. No matter how many bombs you drop or how committed you are towards fighting the IS, there is no way out of it. Obviously, there are small things that we can do right now. And I can also look at my home country, which is Germany, who still keeps delivering weapons to Saudi Arabia, which obviously also end up in these people's hands. So that's where we can make, you know, a difference right now. We can stop these weapon deliveries and just see that these people basically cut off from the supply chain of things like this. Now, I know that all this is not like a perfect solution, and by saying that, you know, we have to work with education and improving conditions and all that, it also means that right now we can't do much but take whatever it happens. Of course, we can increase security and we can do all the little things, but like I said in the beginning, it's a very thin line between really affecting your day-to-day life and taking your own freedom away in the name of terrorism, which I think also would be wrong. The whole thing is a very, very complex issue, and I also don't have the perfect solution for it. But if I see right now how like the president of France and possibly other countries in the EU as well are like, we're gonna destroy terrorism and we will fight the IS and we are dedicated to this idea. It's the same thing that happened with September 11th, like nearly 15 years ago, and we're just repeating history and making the same mistakes again, and it would be a real shame. Anyway, guys, these are my thoughts. These are very much my own personal opinions. So if you have any opinion or any thoughts on this, you can leave that down in the comment section below. You can share your thoughts, like the video, dislike the video, do whatever you want with it. I just want to get this off my chest. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can also subscribe to my channel. Normally I do more like fun video game related topics, but today was a serious topic. So guys, like I said, hope you enjoyed it. I'll talk to you later. I'm out. Bye.